Hi everybody, my name is Jessie and I do perfume reviews in ASMR format. So if you like perfume and also if you enjoy ASMR, you are in a good place for our video today. And today I'm doing another collection video. So this one is fragrances from my personal collection that I think are good winter fragrances. Now, big disclaimer, and if you watch my content, you already know that I don't tend to have a lot of fragrances that would be typically classified as really good winter fragrances. That's because I don't tend to have a lot of heavier, darker, moodier fragrances. I do have some. I definitely think I have more fall fragrances and of course spring and summer. But when I think of winter fragrances, I think of definitely bolder, stronger, because those hold up better in cold weather versus in the hot weather. It's just overpowering. So things, woody notes, things like oud, which I don't think I have any ouds in my collection. Maybe things like incense or other spicy notes, ambery notes, vanilla, things like that. So that's my big disclaimer, is that I just don't have a lot of that going on in my collection, but I tried and I found a few that I think are good for the winter time. And I tried to dress on theme. I was wearing this dress already today with these blue earrings, and then I put on this cozy winter scarf, which I might have to take off soon because it's a little bit warm already. Okay, so first fragrance that I have to show you. This one is Valentino's Donna. So it's just their, original signature women's fragrance, Valentino Donna. This is a vanilla iris, kind of gourmand, slightly gourmand, not technically gourmand, but is sweet. So this is definitely, to me, first and foremost, an iris fragrance as well as rose. So think, powdery, kind of waxy iris, and then rose. It all comes through a little bit more like classic smelling. And then in the base, we have notes of vanilla, leather, and patchouli, which give it definitely, some more lasting power and a bit more depth, especially from the leather note. There's also a praline note, like the candy praline. So there's definitely sweetness in here. There's the iris and rose, and then the vanilla, patchouli, and leather in the base. I like this. I think it's sexy. You have to like that iris smell, because if not, this really might not be for you. But I find this to be a nice fragrance, and I think it would be good for the winter months. Okay, next fragrance I have a travel spray of, and this is by the brand Lake and Skye, and it's called Midnight 07. It's in this opaque black bottle, which gives the appearance that it is, a stronger, kind of darker, moodier fragrance profile. And it definitely smells that way. I will say the one thing about this is, at least I have found, that it does not have great longevity. I think I saw in the reviews on Fragrantica that people say that it has pretty good longevity, but I did not find that to be true myself. But anyway, this is I'm mostly getting like rose, vanilla, and patchouli. So yeah, it's a sexy vanillic rose, little bit of like spicy woodiness coming from the patchouli, as well as vetiver and amber. There's also top notes of fig and yuzu, which is a citrus. I hardly get either of those, but I think they just add like a very subtle touch. I definitely don't get a clear-cut fig, because honestly I don't really tend to like fig. But this is really pretty. It's a sexy, again, slightly more mature rose, but kind of more modern, a more modern feel, because especially of the addition of the vanilla, I would say. So yeah, definitely sexy. I think this is a great winter fragrance. Okay, next fragrance. I'm curious about this one, actually. I'm curious to see what people on Fragrantica say. This one is called Moncler pour Femme. Moncler pour Femme. And I believe Moncler is a brand that does like mostly ski gear and outdoor gear or something. Don't quote me on that, but when I looked into it like a couple of years ago, that's what it looked like to me. So I think this one is supposed to, you know, be something that would work in that sort of outdoor environment. Let me see what people say. Yeah, on Fragrantica, people are recommending winter and fall, but also spring. So what does this smell like? This is a powdery vanilla sandalwood fragrance. I think there's also florals in here, maybe like heliotrope. Comes across in a sweet, powdery way, maybe a little bit almondy. So yeah. So we have notes. In the top notes, we have powdery notes as well as snow, which is obviously not a note, but this does have a cool feel, even though it's kind of dry and powdery. It has a bit of a cool tone feel to it. In the middle notes, we have heliotrope and jasmine. I'm definitely getting the heliotrope, giving that powdery, almondy, vanillic type of feel. And then in our base, these notes really come through. You have vanilla, sandalwood, amber, and cedar. So it is a powdery, woody vanilla fragrance with the heliotrope coming through really nicely. Yeah, I like this a lot. So that is Moncler pour Femme. Okay, I'm gonna take this off one shoulder, see how that goes. Okay, next one is also in a travel spray. This one's a decant from scentsplit.com. And this is Armani Prive's Bleu Turquoise. So Armani Prive is the private line that Armani does. And you should, if you're interested in this, you should look up the original bottle. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a turquoise bottle with like one of those kind of rock looking tops. And this scent is so intoxicating. This is another woody vanilla with some saltiness to it. It has a salt note. But yeah, this one to me is definitely a winter fragrance. It has an incense note. It's not super strong, but it just gives like a smoky depth. So lots of vanilla, incense, a little bit of salt. There's also a black pepper note, so just a little bit of like spiciness. And then there's some other notes in here that are much more subtle, like ylang ylang and cypriol, moss, and sandalwood. But I mostly get vanilla, incense, salt, black pepper. Very sexy, totally unisex, I would say. Yeah. So that's Armani Prive's Bleu Turquoise. Okay, next fragrance. This is a inspired by fragrance, meaning it is imitating a well-known fragrance. So this is Call Me By Your Name by the brand Juliet Has a Gun. Sorry, I said that wrong. This is by the brand Julianas Perfume, not Juliet Has a Gun. Julianas Perfume. And this is mimicking the scent by Guerlain called Gourmand Coquine, which is a very beautiful, like chocolatey fragrance. So let me look at the notes. Now, this is definitely, it's a sexy adult gourmand chocolate. It's not it's not like a Tootsie Roll or something. It's not like a simple chocolate cupcake sort of thing. It's definitely chocolate, but it's very refined. It's more of a powdery, it's more like a cocoa powder, and it's not overly sweet. There's also pink pepper in the top notes, so it's a little, just a touch spicy. We've got vanilla, brown sugar, labdanum, benzoin, and amber, so all of those notes give an ambery, vanillic sort of smell to the base. There's also musk in here, and I do get quite a bit of musk. I think that's what's giving more of a like airy or more powdery kind of feel. So that's mostly what I get. All those base notes, the vanilla, brown sugar, benzoin, labdanum, like a powdery chocolate from probably the musk, and then touch of pink pepper in the top. Really pretty. I would not feel at all, like sometimes when I think about wearing a gourmand scent, if it's more like straight up, you know, more like childlike, something you want to eat, I get a little bit sometimes iffy about wearing that, especially in anything more like formal setting. But I feel like this you could even wear in a slightly more formal setting and still smell very put together and mature and sophisticated. So that's Call Me By Your Name by Julianas Perfume. Okay, next one, and this one might really be more of a fall vibe, but I like it as well. I really think it's good for the winter. This is Donna Karan Cashmere Mist. This is the Eau de Toilette. There's also an Eau de Parfum. I believe they smell very similar. This fragrance has been out for so long. Let's see, 1994. So we're going on 31 years. Wow, that's a long time. So this scent, Cashmere Mist, definitely has that cashmere soft feel. It has notes of cashmere wood and suede. Quite a bit of musk, which really just kind of soften it and make it a little bit fuzzy. There's sandalwood, vanilla, and amber in the base. I would say I mostly get sandalwood. It's not a vanillic fragrance, so the vanilla and amber are just subtle, but I definitely get sandalwood. And then the other notes brighten this up and make it a little more fresh. So those would be bergamot, jasmine, and lily of the valley. So those notes make it really kind of clean, fresh. So think of this as an airy, musky, suedey, clean sort of smell. Like a clean, like you just bought a new leather purse and it's like, just smells like clean and, yeah, leathery. But this is not like leather. It's really more of like a light suede, because I'm not really a big fan of like heavy leathers. That's hard to say, heavy leather. Okay, so that's Cashmere Mist Eau de Toilette by Donna Karan. Next fragrance here is Guess Seductive Noir. Another fragrance in a black bottle. Even though this is called Seductive Noir, it's really not that heavy. It's really beautiful though. I passed this fragrance up quite a few times when I saw it at, like TJ Maxx or Ross. I even got a sample of it quite a while ago and didn't like it, but my taste in perfumes has just changed over the years. So this is another vanilla. It's like an aromatic vanilla. So we've got vanilla as well as vetiver in the base, so a little bit of a dry woodiness. And then there's sage in the top notes, and that definitely comes through. Gives it a slightly more masculine feel. The overall feel of this is still feminine, but it's a little more unisex leaning, I would say. Sage gives it definitely a little bit more of a unisex feel. There's also prominent prominent iris note that I get coming through in here. Just makes it kind of soft and velvety, and yeah. What else? There's also notes of some florals like jasmine, lily of the valley, and peony. I get very subtle florals, but mostly, like I said, I get vanilla, iris, sage, and vetiver. Very sexy. It's definitely, yeah, it's more of like a winter sort of scent, but it's not super heavy. It's very easy to wear, I would say. So that's Guess, Seductive, Noir. Alright, and then I've just got two more. A lot of these fragrances I have to show you today are smaller. I don't know why. But this one is by Jo Malone, and it's Orange Bitters, and this is their 9 milliliter little bottle. This one I just always think of Christmas time. When I smell it, it's got that festive feel because what I mainly get with this is citrus, like orange, and then sandalwood and amber. So it just has that festive, you know, when you think of like Christmas and the holidays, you might think of like dried oranges, like those little garlands of like the oranges sliced and hanging, maybe with like some cinnamon sticks or anise, star anise, and that's what I think of with this. It has that festive feel. So it's called Orange Bitters. It definitely is more of a bitter orange. It's not bitter per se, but it's just not sweet. So it comes across very sophisticated. There's the amber and then the sandalwood. The sandalwood comes through in a nice dry, woody way. And the amber just gives a nice, like, substantial base. The citruses, you know, they don't hang around for super long after you spray them. But they do stay for a bit of time, I notice. But of course, the dry down is more sandalwood and amber for sure. So yeah, this one's fun, and I think it's very unisex as well. So that's Orange Bitters by Jo Malone. Okay, last fragrance that I have to show you, and then I'll show you some samples. But this last one, this is by Sabrina Carpenter, and this one's called Sweet Tooth. Now, this one really could work any time of year. It's a gourmand, and it's just a very sweet, fun, much more like girly, juvenile type of gourmand. Like, you know, I was saying this one is like sophisticated. Like, I feel like you could even wear this to work and not smell super, just uber sweet and like youthful. But like, I also like occasionally to have that like super youthful Bath and Body Works type of scent, and this one is definitely more that. It's fun, it's fluffy. Let's look at the notes. It has a very fluffy, whipped sort of feel. So it has notes, a little bit of like an Ariana Grande type of note profile. It has notes of marshmallow, whipped cream, coconut milk, sugar, musk, cashmere wood, vanilla. So all of that, just think sweet, fluffy, vanilla, touch of coconut. It also has a chocolate note and a candied ginger note, but honestly, I mostly just get like the sweet, slightly lactonic, whipped kind of feel. Really fun. Not necessarily a winter fragrance, but I feel like it could go well in the winter because it is sweet. It's subtle, it's not super heavy, but I wouldn't wear this as much in this summer, that's for sure. So this would definitely hold up well in the cold weather. So that is Sabrina Carpenter's Sweet Tooth. Okay, next I just have a handful of samples to show you. So these are, you know, I own the samples, but I don't own the full bottles. And a lot of these, just so you know, are expensive. A lot of these samples are more expensive. Some of them I really like, and I would buy a bottle if they were not so expensive. But that's just the way it goes. So this one that I have to show you, which somebody like, let's see, myfragrancesamples.com made a decant of. This one is by the brand Ex Nihilo, and it's called Bois d'Hiver, which means winter wood, or wood of winter, or something like that in French. And this was my scent of the day. and I can still smell it, but it's faded quite a bit already. But this is like a very unisex, natural smell. So I definitely get some patchouli. Oh, there we go. This is a little bit incensey, though there's no incense note, but think like walking into an incense shop. And this smells a little bit like that. So yeah, we have patchouli, sandalwood, there's cardamom and pink pepper in the top notes, so we got a little bit of like spiciness. There's cedar, musk, and heliotrope. There's also cypriol oil. So yeah, altogether this is just a very natural, slightly spicy, incensey, a little bit more dry, airy, not, yeah, a little musky. Easy to wear though, even though it does have that kind of like ambery, incensey feel, but it's still easy to wear. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wearing it. So that's Ex Nihilo's Bois d'Hiver. And next one, this one is very well known and talked about a lot on YouTube. This is by Christian Louboutin, and this is called Loubirouge. The bottle is red and silver, the full bottle, and I think it's a little bit gaudy, but definitely interesting. Here's what the sample looks like. So this is very simple in its note structure, but very beautiful. Definitely a great winter fragrance. So in the top note, we have cardamom, middle note iris, base note vanilla. So it's a vanilla, really, it's an iris vanilla. Those two go really well together. And then there's the cardamom, which gives it a nice warm spiciness. Again, I think this one leans feminine, but is somewhat unisex. And it's definitely a good cold weather scent, but it's not like super intense, super bold. It is expensive though. But yeah, that is Loubirouge by Christian Louboutin. Okay, that scarf is coming off. Okay, next one. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray this because it's been a minute. But this one, if I recall, smells very similar to Julianas perfume, Call Me By Your Name. And this is by the brand Pinrose, and it's called Guilded Fox. Yeah, so this is another chocolate fragrance. However, this one to me is a little bit more bold, a little bit more heavy, just a little more depthy. The Call Me By Your Name is a little more powdery and light. This one has notes of cocoa. It definitely comes through as like a almost unsweetened cocoa. It's not, this is not like a sweet fragrance, but it's not bitter either. It's a little sweet, but it's not like a gourmand per se. It's another kind of like quasi-gourmand. But it definitely has quite a few edible notes in it. So besides the cocoa, there is coffee, there is caramel, there's buttered rum, and the buttered rum gives it a little bit more, just a little bit more of like a less powdery, little bit less dry, I would say. There's also notes of black pepper and clove and cardamom, so some spicy touches. There's some florals, there's musk and cedar and vetiver. There's a bunch of notes in here. Altogether, it's fairly similar to Call Me By Your Name or Guerlain's Gourmand Coquine. I like it, and I believe that this brand Pinrose is more affordable. So yeah, I really like this one. I think this is great for fall and winter. Okay. Next, I have a couple dupes or inspired by fragrances, and both of these are mimicking the scent by Tom Ford called Black Orchid. This one is called Spicy Orchid by the brand Dossier, and I believe they might have changed the name. I don't know if it's called Spicy Orchid anymore. This one is by Alexandria Fragrances, and it's called Unforgettable. And again, both of these mimic the scent Black Orchid by Tom Ford. So Black Orchid by Tom Ford has a zillion freaking notes. I don't even know what to tell you. But it has, it's a quasi-gourmand sort of smell. It has a note of chocolate. Also has truffle, as in like the mushroom, black truffle. There's patchouli, there's vanilla orchid, so you're definitely getting like a sweetness, like a sweet vanillic, somewhat gourmand feel. There's spices, there's incense. It's a very sexy fragrance. Very sexy fragrance. Both of these smell pretty similar because they are both mimicking the same fragrance. So I do like it. It's the sort of fragrance I would not wear very often, and if I wore it, I would do one spray and walk through it because it's very strong. And now it is on me, so that'll be my secondary scent of the day. But this one, Black Orchid, this is definitely a good winter scent in my opinion. Okay, next fragrance. This is by the brand Maison Crivelli. And this is Iris Malikhan. So this is an iris fragrance, but it's a very heavy, earthy, leathery iris. And I'm going to spray just a touch of it because I'm not really smelling it right now. Okay, there we go. So yeah. Another unisex fragrance. Oh right, and this also has quite a bit of vanilla in it. So lots of orris, which is iris root, vanilla, leather, and then there's quite a few like aromatic notes like cobalamin, cypress, mastic. There's some spicy notes like cinnamon, pink pepper, and coriander. But yeah, it's a smooth vanilla, but not sweet vanilla. Smooth vanilla, orris, leather, with some spicy touches, some slightly green aromatic touches. Very natural. Think like you were out in the woods and you can't come back and you just smell very, like, very sexy, woody, like a lumberjack. What's the word for that? Lumbersexual. Have you heard of that word? Like what's your sexual orientation? Lumbersexual, like someone who's into like the like outdoorsy, like lumberjack look. This is like a lumbersexual fragrance, I would say. So yeah, that's really nice. So good. I'm definitely gonna keep this one around. So that's Iris Malikhan by Maison Crivelli. Okay, next one. This is by the brand BDK Parfum, and this one's called Gris Charnel Extrait. So there's a Gris Charnel, and then this is the Extrait version, which I don't know right now, but I assume is stronger and has maybe slightly different notes, but smells similar. So this is a cardamom, fig, sandalwood fragrance. I said earlier that I'm not a huge fig person, but I do enjoy the fig in here, and I'm not sure why. But yeah, cardamom is the main, sandalwood is probably the main note I get in here, followed by cardamom. There's also vanilla in here. It's not like a vanilla dominant fragrance, but it's one of the top notes, I would say. It just, it's so beautiful. It really comes together so nicely. Cardamom, sandalwood, vanilla, fig. There's also a black tea note in here. And some other notes. This is really pretty, very sophisticated, very luxurious, and rich smelling. So BDK's Gris Charnel Extrait. Okay. Next fragrance is by the brand Frederic Malle, and this is Musc Ravageur. I don't know if I'm saying that right. This one, it's probably a little bit more fall vibes, but I feel like it also goes well in the winter. I wore this yesterday. And this is one of those like spices that you would find in like the fall time, fall winter. So we've got cinnamon, cloves, excuse me, and vanilla, tonka bean, and also amber, quite a bit of musk. So it definitely has musk in it, but it's got a lot of other kind of like spicy notes. It's got a few woody notes like cedar and gaiac wood. It does have what's called animal notes, so it has a little bit of that more animalic musk. It's not too much, but if it were any more, it would be too much for me. It's just got a little bit of that like slightly dirty musky feel, but still overall very sexy. So that is Musc Ravageur by Frederic Malle. Okay, next and last fragrance that I have to show you. This is by the brand Penhaligon's, and it is called Babylon. Babylon. The bottle is really beautiful. If you want to look it up online, super beautiful bottle. Gotta smell this because I have not smelled it in a long time. Okay. So, this is, I can already smell a little. This is a boozy, deep sort of scent. Definitely more of like an incensey feel. Very sexy. So, it definitely has a boozy feel to me, although there's no boozy notes, but it makes sense if there was like rum or something. But this is like deep wood, but the woods are cedar and sandalwood, which usually can be a little lighter. So again, I'm kind of surprised it doesn't have like a mahogany or an oud or something. But yeah, I get like a boozy, woody smell. There's vanilla in here, but it's not like the main character, but it does add a nice vanillic touch. There's nutmeg and saffron and coriander in the top notes. I definitely get a bit of the nutmeg and saffron. And then there's cypriol oil in the middle notes. That's like the fourth one, I think, that has cypriol oil. So yeah, this one to me is like, yeah, very wintry, heavy, woody, natural, slightly incensey, ambery kind of smell. Yeah, so that is Penhaligon's Babylon. Okay, everybody, so that completes my list of fragrances that I think would be good in the winter time. I hope you all enjoyed, and let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts, anything you want to share. I'm sending you all peace, love, beauty, and harmony, and wishing you a good winter holiday season. If you're like me and you're not a huge fan of the cold and wet weather, wishing that you get through it as best you can and you have lots of good memories with friends and family and nature. Okay, everybody, you all take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.